All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division where predictions have been made and a very interesting insight has been made about the Errol Spence Terence Crawford fight, the biggest fight in boxing coming up on July 29th. Paulie Malignaggi and someone else who is involved in being quoted in this interview that was on Boxing News 24 about Errol Spence Jr. being too big for Terence Crawford and what Terence Crawford may do in order to try to compensate for that in this fight. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the fight between Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford, where Paulie Malignaggi, not everybody's favorite commentator, but a guy that really does know a lot about boxing, had something to say and predicted the outcome of the fight. And he is following suit with a lot of calls that have been made by people that have worked on certain networks. People that have worked on ESPN and HBO tend to pick Terence Crawford. People that worked on Showtime and called fight cards on the PBC tend to say and pick Errol Spence Jr., and he is not breaking the cycle on that, and says that he has Terence Crawford, Errol Spence Jr. winning the fight because Errol Spence Jr. is too big, and he is too aggressive, and his pace will wear down Terence Crawford. Now, there's also somebody named Chris Williams that was quoted in the article, and the same article that was talking about Paulie Malignaggi gave an opinion about what Terence Crawford is going to do in that fight in order to overcome that. And what is that? Cheat in the fight. He said, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Now, don't worry, I'm not talking about, he's not talking about, hashtag busted gloves, like what happened in the fight with David Avanesyan, which for some reason, and I do not understand it for anything, for some reason was not a big story, where Terence Crawford went into a boxing ring and he knocked out a guy that had defective gloves. To this day, I am trying to figure out exactly how that is not a big story, how that is just something to be, okay, yeah, no big deal. He really didn't need it. He could have done it anyway. Yeah, but he didn't. The gloves blew up, the padding flying all over the place, and then he knocked him out. That don't seem funny to you? But anyway, I'm in the minority of people with that one, I guess, well, I think maybe I'm not in the minority. I just think a lot of people don't care enough about the David Avanesyan fight. However, this particular guy, Williams, points to what happened when he got frustrated when Amir Khan hit him, and how Terence Crawford landed a hard, low blow when he was frustrated against Amir Khan and made Amir Khan reset. Right now, when he said this, I thought to myself, that didn't make a lot of sense to me. Maybe I'll go back and look at the fight. Seemed like he was, handling Amir Khan relatively well, right? It was just, but then again, maybe I was just sitting around waiting for him to knock out Amir Khan as soon as he touched him on the chin, which really never happened, by the way. He hit Amir Khan on the chin, and Amir Khan didn't go anywhere. Amir Khan wound up quitting the fight after a low blow, but he just quit the fight. However, I don't really see that is really being a problem going into this fight as far as Terence Crawford doing something that is going to be underhanded. But, will he throw a low blow? I wouldn't doubt that he would throw a low blow. I wouldn't doubt that he would throw a hip shot or something like that. Errol will. Just to be fair, if Errol is on the inside and he's throwing them shots, look, man, he's throwing towards, it looks like he's throwing towards at that body. And if one may stray low onto the hip, it strays low onto the hip, right? And that is the type of fight that Errol Spence Jr. wants to fight. And if there's going to be inside fighting, there's going to be rough stuff. And Terence very well may let something stray this way or that way. I don't really think I disagree with the guy saying I don't think that's going to be a big deal in the fight. As far as what Paulie Malignaggi said, he was like, look, he thinks Terence Crawford is the more versatile fighter. I keep hearing that. It's hard for me. I guess it's just hard for me to gauge because they all have the same weapons in the ring. But if he's talking about movement and getting out, I think all of that stuff he has the ability to do a lot of things that other people don't have the ability to do. He can most definitely get on the back foot. He can fight going backwards. He can move. He has good lateral movement. So I'm sure he's going to try to do whatever he can do to keep that fight from being just a 12-round brutal slugfest. I think the problem is, though, with that is that Errol Spence Jr. is a very fundamentally sound fighter and is most definitely going to be able to land shots consistently on Terence Crawford. And that may lead to frustration on Terence Crawford, where Terence is going to want to get his lick back and get very, very aggressive with him. And if that plan does not work, where you say, okay, I'm going to flip on the switch and walk this dude down, and you realize, hey, man, you can't walk this dude down, or you're not going to be able to push this dude back or be able to do what you used to do to a lot of these other guys, to a lot of these other young dudes. That could be real problems. And I think that could run everything downhill for Terence Crawford. The analogy that I see is the closest to that is if you ever watch channels with bears, you know that there's this place, I think it's in Alaska, called Bear Island, or wherever you have like rivers where grizzly bears are, and you have the one boss grizzly bear, and every season the grizzly bear, that particular, dominant male grizzly bear is the one that gets the best fishing spot. He's the one that gets to mate with the female bears, right? And he's in any male that comes around there that tries to do either one of those two things, he shuts them down. But eventually, there's that one winter where he didn't eat enough salmon the summer before, but the season before, he's not able to get his bulk and his weight up, and all of a sudden, the grizzly 2 years younger than him is bucking up, and before you know it, bucks up, wins a fight, and now everything is him as a new king in the jungle. That is the way that things operate. So where you have Errol, who is bigger, Errol, who I have to suspect is every bit as strong as Terence Crawford, and strong in the ways that count, right? Not talking about how strong somebody is when you grab them and you wrestle them and you play around with them. I'm talking about the functional strength in a boxing ring, right? The guy that is the more accomplished amateur and has the better professional wins. All of this has the making for that old bear to get for when he thinks he can bluff and fake and you hit him, and then all of a sudden he starts coming at you and thinking, man, maybe you'll quit, maybe you'll shell up and go away. Yeah, it may not work against that guy. But at the end of the day, man, I can't wait to have a fight, to see the fight. This fight right here, I get less and less, I usually get the bubbles before fights and get nervous before big fights like this. But strangely, man, I don't feel any of that going into this fight, man. I'm just so glad all of the talk and all of the stuff that was going on before is no longer taking place, with all the contract conversations and this guy and this dude's ducking, this guy's lowballing, all of that stuff. I'm just really, really glad it's over. And I hope we get to see two fights, this and a rematch. I would not mind, because, hey, man, these are the moments, boxing fans, that you should definitely mark on your calendar and pay for the fight, because they don't come around all the time. And I also think that this is the type of fight where people, no matter what will happen, if it's a good fight, people will have more appreciation down the road for both of these guys for just having taken the fight and given people a really entertaining evening of boxing. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.